incentives. So this is a very important and very big part. I see constantly in Discord, if fixed flex is out, I'm out, etc. I see that, and I think if only you would see the spreadsheet of how terrible fixed flex is, you would think twice about it. I'd like to propose incentives that actually work, that are predictable, and that end up giving early backers a really good reward. So let's see, how would that work? Well, what we would do, let me first kind of give you this detailed example of fixed flex, just so you don't have to go on my sort of word. Fixed flex right now is funded from a portion of the tax levied when VUL is transferred between wallets. Now, it turns out that for a productive kind of blockchain, a majority of the transactions are in fact smart contract interactions and no tax is levied there. So let's take an example, right? Let's say that 100% of existing wallets, like 18,000 plus, they do 10 transfers a day, back and forth. They cost 5% each in tax. Let's look at a wallet with a VUL balance of 10,000. Using the existing model, using the current fixed flex rules, that wallet would claim monthly VUL of about 17. Who in their right mind thinks that that is a good incentive? That's not a good incentive at all. Fire pit and vaporizing, they are merely gimmicks and they make no difference to the math. They literally are irrelevant to this whole model. They're good for marketing, they're good for theater, but they make no difference. All right, so let's look at a cap table where I talk about and propose some incentives. So what I've done is I've created the whole cap table, and as we go through this, I'm going to highlight certain sections of it. Let's start with the incentive section, where you see that there are 10 million tokens allocated, 20% for incentives. And you see 3 lines there, OGs. So I'm collectively calling OGs the validator, the node owners, the light node owners, and the sacrificers. Those collectively as a group are OGs. So you can see here that's 5.625 million tokens allocated. There's boosters and creatives. We'll get to those later. Let's focus on OGs for the moment, okay? Right, in this new incentive model, we have no tax, no fixed flex, no power pool, no fire pit, and no vaporization. The incentives are available to the 3 categories I talked about: the OGs, validators, backers. I'm using a new term for light nodes because we are deprecating the need to actually run any software. So we call them backers, and then sacrificers. So 5.625 million tokens are available for distribution as incentives to OGs over 24 months. Here already you see a marked difference from fixed flex. You know when this protocol is launched how many tokens are available in this program over what time period. Precisely. You can do the math on it. It's a very simple model. There is an incentive vault, there is an incentive pool, and there's an incentive NFT. One of the things that I like to do when I architect software is get to the fundamentals, like keep it really, really simple. You don't want to add all kinds of gimmicks and rules and formulas that make it really, really hard for anyone to figure out, what's going on. This model is like that. Here's how it works. We have a vault, consider it like a box. Those 5.625 million tokens are in that box. Whenever a rebase occurs, tokens are moved from the vault into another box. Let's call that the OG incentive pool. And which tokens are moved? Well, whatever tokens have vested. These tokens have a 2-year vesting period, which means 24 months. You can break that down into days, etc., and minutes and seconds. So every time a rebase occurs, and remember the rebase is performance driven. So there's a certain number of transactions that occurred, a rebase occurred, and boom, vault tokens moved into the pool, now becoming available as incentives. As long as you're in the vault, they are waiting there to become an incentive but they are not yet available. When they move from the vault into the pool, they are now available as incentives. As long as the blockchain is active, there's activity, there are transactions, rebasing will occur. And these incentive tokens will continue to move from the vault into the pool. It doesn't matter how long it takes them. Ideally, we have a good transaction sort of cadence, and those tokens move very quickly from the vault to the pool, as quickly as they vest. So once they are in the pool, what happens? Well, once they're in the pool, this is where the NFTs kick in. At Genesis, every one of the OGs, so all those three categories, the 500 validators, the 1,500 backers, formerly light nodes, and the 18,500 plus sacrificers, are all going to get an incentive NFT of type OG. Each of these NFTs is going to have a weight. That weight is calculated based on your holdings. So if you have more that is allocated to you for Genesis, then your weight's going to be higher than someone who has less. It's all predicated on the entire weight of the system being 10,000. So if any of you are in the financial world, you're familiar with the term basis points. It's used all the time, right? So 10,000 basis points is 100%. So your weight of your NFT is going to be based upon your share of all of these three categories. So what is that? It's 20,500. Also, in that NFT is your vesting schedule. It's the rate at which your holding becomes available for transfers, trades, etc. And finally, that NFT also has your governance weight. So that's calculated based on not one criteria, just your holdings, but two criteria. So you've got your holdings and you've got the type of category you're in. So if you are a validator, your governance weight is going to be higher than, say, a sacrificer. Why? Because you have essentially more say in the system. You're running a validator. You stepped up. You invested more. So we'll come to the governance weight and its significance later. But at this point, we have Genesis, and all 20,500 or so folks have an NFT dropped into their wallet, and it indicates what weight they have from the whole pool. It indicates their vesting schedule and indicates their governance. There's a box at the bottom there called earnings. Let's look at what that's all about. So each incentive NFT holder is eligible for a pro rata share from the incentive pool. What is the incentive pool? Well, let me just back up a little bit. It's the box on the right. Remember, tokens move from the vault into the pool, and they're available as an incentive. Now, earnings is essentially saying that everything that moves in there, based upon the weight, you have a portion of those. Those are yours, right? Let's use an example. Let's say that there's an OG incentive NFT with a weight of 890. Okay, that's 8.9%. So if there were 1,000 tokens in the incentive pool, that means that the person holding that particular incentive NFT would be eligible for 89 tokens plus rebasing. I hope you can see right away how simple this is, but also how fair and easy it is to understand. There are tokens that have already been allocated as incentive. No drama needed for that. It's just a question of when are they available. Well, they are available when the blockchain protocol performs and does interesting things. It's great. Let's reward the whole ecosystem. That's what that's about. Okay? But how can you capture those earnings? Well, that's called a claim. So a claim is a one-time event for each NFT, right? We don't require you to do anything daily, weekly, hourly, whatever. You don't have to stand on one leg and chant something, etc. Nothing like that. The incentive NFT holder can claim their earnings at any time. But once a claim is made, that NFT will no longer have any future incentive earnings in that pool. because they are distributed pro rata. So think of it as you're burning your NFT's ability to claim, and you extract the value that is due to you, and you're done. From now onwards, none of the incentive pool tokens are available to you. So this requires you to really make a calculated decision. You know that the incentive pool grows with every rebase. It's also rebasing itself. So if you defer your claim for as long as you can or want to, you get the most rewards. What this is doing is encouraging behavior to keep those tokens out of circulation. And the fewer tokens there are in circulation, the higher the price can be. So this is the incentive. A lot of you might have heard of, at least in the United States, a common financial instrument. It's called a certificate of deposit, right? You pay some money, you hold it, and it keeps growing, it's growing, and at some point you can withdraw it and cash, and you will know that it has compound interest and you've got that much. This is sort of like that. So one important thing, the incentive weight of yours, it's calculated at Genesis. So how you use your wallet, what you do with your earnings, you move tokens in and out, etc., doesn't matter at all. Your earnings are locked in at Genesis, and you are the only person who controls when you claim them. You claim them, you have your tokens, you're done. It's great. It works. What happens is the remaining tokens are now a bit still in the pool, and the people who are still there who have not yet claimed, they get a slight bump up because now there's one less NFT weighted claim waiting there. So that is an incentive program that is fair, easy to understand, easy to implement actually. From a developer standpoint, it's really simple and straightforward to implement. And remember I said earlier, we're going to double down on NFTs. This is an NFT first platform. Everything we're going to do here is going to be NFT driven. So that NFT of yours is really, really valuable. Now you might be thinking, well, can I sell that NFT to someone? Well, guess what? Once we have the marketplace up and going, you could potentially sell that NFT at a higher price based on future value. You could do that. But we won't enable that capability right away until we get legal counsel on that, because that is a feature that we are not sure on. So we'll wait on that one. But you can certainly claim your earnings.